because I know the time is not enough for them to answer all the questions that they have. But before we go on, let me quickly introduce again to you tonight, people that are on the panel. We are blessed tonight to have Brother Victor Ibenodium. We have Sister Bukola Alabi, and we have Sister Olamumi Oduyemi, and we also have Brother Akin Adekoya. And our one and only, we know her very well, that is the anchor for this program, and that is the person of Minister Adetun Ogunyemi. So let's just sit back, relax, invite our friends and family, and see what God is going to use this program again to do tonight. But I know that it will go far, and God will use it for deliverance of many again tonight, in the mighty name of Jesus. So we welcome every one of you on board tonight. We want you to sit down with your family, and any question you still have, you can still have the question. The Lord bless you. I'm Pastor Atinuke Adesoya. God bless you. Have a wonderful evening with your family as we all stay and relax on our chairs, on our bed, to listen to this wonderful program tonight. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Pastor Atinuke. God bless you, Ma. You're welcome once again, our wonderful panel. We look forward to what God is going to use you for this evening. We have quite a few questions for you, and I'm sure you will help us tackle them, give us more insight and wisdom. God bless you so much. My first question, I will be starting with Brother Victor this evening. And I will go around, I'll call you and ask you to help us here. So I've got this question from a lady, one of our ladies. She said, my husband goes out without letting me know where he is going, and he just comes back randomly. I need advice. So this man goes out randomly and comes back whenever he wants without the wife, I believe, knowing where he's going. So can you help us, Brother Victor, whilst I would ask Sister Bukola Alabi to also get ready to support whatever Brother Victor says this evening. Brother Victor?
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, the panel. Good evening, church and the public. That is a tricky one. Your husband go out without letting you know where he's going, and he comes in. So I believe you don't go over and start shouting. The best thing to do, what he is doing is very, very wrong. That is very, very wrong. A responsible man will not behave like that, because anywhere he is going is supposed to let you know. And that is to tell you, oh, darling, I am going to so place. I'm going to see Brother Peter. I'm going to meet a friend, so that anything that happens, you know where your husband is. It's not a husband that something happened, you cannot say, oh, my husband will not be there. That is very, very wrong. What the best thing for you to do is to find a very quiet atmosphere and sit him down. Tell him, darling, what is going on? If I'm doing this, will you be happy? It's not good. If you are anywhere you are going, I'm not monitoring you, but as my husband, if anything happens outside, like you say you just go out and something happened there, I will not know that you are there. So, and if anyone asks me, what am I going to say? So the best thing is for you to sit him down, explain to him. It's not by shouting or by quarreling. Let him understand what he's doing and the implication that it is not good at all for his own benefit and benefit as well. That's all. That is how it's supposed to go. It's not by quarreling.
Thank you so much, Brother Victor. I like one thing you said, so that he is accountable, I believe, so that the wife will know where he is. Not because, well, let me let Sister Buki answer that. Why do you suppose a woman wants to always know where the husband is? Or, you know, why do you reckon that particular woman wants to know? And what would be your advice if it were to happen to you? How would you ask the sister to handle it?
So, like Brother Victor said, women want to know where their husbands are going to, because it's just natural that because you care about your husband, so you will want to know. And husband and wife are meant to be one. So naturally, the marriage, you're supposed to know what each other are doing. And that includes knowing where you're going. So it's normal that we would want to know in a good relationship where there is no problem and there are no issues. So we want to know because, like he said, if something happens somewhere, we know, God forbid, but things happen in this time, in this area of the world, anywhere, something can happen in central London. They can say it's in Manchester. You want to know the first thing you think about, just like when you hear about disasters around the world, immediately the people you know who live around that area come to mind. So also, it's just natural to want to know what the other person is doing because you care about them. So you would also want to tell them what you're doing. But we have people that we don't know whether their relationship started that way, where the man doesn't want to disclose where he goes to, or maybe something went wrong along the line. Sometimes the way women ask these questions, men think, oh, are you challenging me? Are you monitoring me? Do you think some men feel that you are asking them because maybe you feel the woman needs to permit them to go where they're going. So they become defensive and they want to show you that, look, I can do what I like. You're not in charge of my life. And then they do things like that. So what I would advise the woman to do is, after talking to him, calling him and explaining without malice, without anger, why she needs to know. Like he said, would you be happy I'm sure that man wants to know where his wife goes to. So after having that conversation, what she needs to now do is to be patient and to persevere. So when he's going out, don't ask him where he's going if he doesn't tell you, because you've already had that discussion. He knows that you want to know. So if he's still not telling you, it's because he still doesn't want to tell you. And nagging or fighting or complaining will not change it. It would only make it worse. So when he's going out, just tell him, okay, when he says, I suppose you people are not quarreling. So you will say, okay, I'm going out, bye-bye. Just say bye-bye. And when he comes back, receive him well without malice. Don't frown or keep malice or show him. It may be painful, but you have to learn to train yourself. The Bible says that we should be long-suffering. Not just as a woman, as Christians, we have to be long-suffering. So you need to just let him come back. The normal things you would do, maybe you offer him food, just behave normally, like nothing went wrong. And if normally when he goes out, if you have the kind of relationship that you check on him once in a while, maybe to say, oh, how are you doing? Still, oh, how are you doing? But don't refer to when are you coming back? Sometimes when a man even says, oh, I'm going somewhere, women will be like, so when are you coming back? And the man feels offended. What do you mean? Are you going to tell me how long I need to stay outside? And so just leave it. I tell you, he will start feeling guilty because before you used to complain, now you're not complaining anymore. You change your tactics. It would, after a while, it will start telling you where he's going by himself.
Wow.
So that's my advice.
Thank you so much, Sister Buki. That was loaded. Thank you so much. So it's about how we ask the questions. I remember last month when we had our women conference, one of the guest speakers did say to us that we should not train our husbands. We train our children and love our husbands. May God help us. And to be honest with you, it does happen with women as well, where some women will not tell their husbands where they're going. And that doesn't resolve, say, for instance, tit for tat, because the man doesn't tell you, you don't tell him as well. It doesn't work that way. It's not going to get us anywhere. Wisdom is profitable in all things. Thank you so much, Brother Victor and Sister Bukola, for that. I appreciate, I'm sure everyone appreciates what you've just told us there. Brother Akin, good evening. Welcome to our panel this evening. This question is for you. It says, does it really matter who earns more money at home? Does it really matter who earns more at home where there is love? Because I earn more, should I pay more bills? So this is not gender specific. It says, does it really matter who earns more at home where there is love? Because I earn more, should I pay more bills? What is your take on this? I would want to assume it's a woman. What is your take on this? Brother King, we cannot hear you.
Akin is not connected to the audio.
Oh, Brother King is not connected to the audio.
Is just coming on there.
Okay. Okay. Yes, let me. Yeah, unmute now, sir.
Hi, good evening. Hi, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Well, Akin, you're connected to 2 devices. Disconnect the other one.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Should maybe Minister Ola, whilst we're waiting for Brother Akin to sort that out, can you help us with this? Because you earn more at home, do you think that you should pay more as a woman? What is your take? The question again is, does it really matter who earns more at home where there is love? Because I earn more, should I pay more bills? What is your take on that?
Well, because you said it wasn't gender specific, I would assume that personally, whoever earns more needs to definitely pay more, because regardless of if it's the wife or the husband, because say, for example, the wife is earning more and the husband is earning less, you can't expect him to pay much more from very little that he does earn. And you said it's that if there is love in the house, I'm sure they would have communicated, they know how they plan their finances, who pays what, who, you know, there's an agreement as to who pays what, when. But I think I agree, if whoever earns more should really pay more. But it's not a must, it's an agreement. It's something that you talk about, it's something that you've agreed. Your money is my money, my money is your money. So together, the finances is our money and not my money or his money. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Thank you so much, Brother Akin. Welcome back. Can you help us with
thanks
this?
for having me, everyone. Good evening, panel. Happy to be here. I think buttress to what Sister Ola just mentioned, it doesn't really matter who earns more. And for example, if my wife's earned more than me, and you know, it's the glory of God, we're working towards we're trying to achieve a positive something. You know, we're building a home. So I think, you know, it's good for as a man, you know, you should as a man, you're the head of a family. You know, you should provide for your family. And to me, it doesn't really matter who earns more. So, you know, that's just my take on it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So it doesn't matter whether the wife earns more than the husband or vice versa. We should work together, and communication is key, was what I got from Minister Ola. Thank you so much for answering that question. It keeps coming up every month. People keep, you know, asking the same question over and over again. It's about communication, setting your budget together, and then agreeing which goes which way. Praise the Lord. Now I have another question that I would ask Sister Buki to help me with here. It says, my teenage daughter hardly leaves her room except when it's meal times. How can I get through to her? The teenage daughter, as you know, we know sometimes teenagers, whether boy or girl, I know sometimes they can be very introverted during that period. What have you done? What did you do with your teenage children or your children when they were teenagers? Can you help us this evening?
To be honest, teenagers like to be by themselves, and not just teenagers, even as they grow into young adults. So it's not a bad thing if they want to stay in the room by themselves. I understand that as a family, there are times that you would want them to come and, you know, spend time generally with the family downstairs. So what you do is just you call them and you explain to them, you sit them down and explain the importance of family time. So I suppose they have siblings. So you need to talk to them to say, okay, you know what, we know that you're busy, you know, you have your own time, but can you set a time? You can agree with them to set a time at a particular, ask them the convenient time for them. where obviously other members of the family will be downstairs as well. So they need to tell them, because that's when you form the bond. Because by them staying by themselves, I mean, they're not forming bonds with the other people in the family. And it needs to go past the family as well, because you need to explain to them the lifelong impact of communicating with other people and socializing as well. Because even when they get to work, you can't isolate yourself. So you speak to them, you don't speak to them accusingly or talk to them with, or demandingly. You sit them down and you tell them, you're always spending a lot of time in your room. I understand that you need your own time, and I'm not against that, but we're a family as well. We need to, you need to come downstairs sometimes, especially, I mean, it's lockdown. Maybe most people are at home. So maybe you can make it family lunch period. So would he or she come down for lunch and then generally spend a bit of time? It doesn't have to be fixed to say, oh, you must spend 1 hour and you're timing it. So because it's got to be something natural as well. You don't want someone that will come downstairs and start snapping at other people or start annoying other people, and instead of the love you want to share, then there's quarrels. So it has to be, even if it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, quality time, it doesn't have to be too long. So if you explain to them like that, and like they're building lifelong, traits and character that they have to, like when you get to work, you can't just be by yourself. So let's start from this family, and I believe that they will change. But please don't expect that by having that conversation. Sometimes, because people are new to teenagers, they have some unexpected, unrealistic expectations. Don't force them to say, you must come downstairs, you must be downstairs at particular times. They even when they grow into their 20s, they're always in their room, especially if they have their own room. So don't think that by them staying in the room as well for too long, it doesn't mean that they can't impact and do things together. Also, you can find things, you can have days where you have maybe movie nights, or days where everyone is just together, make homemade popcorn, watch movies together. It can be once a week. You all agree. Don't inform them and say, oh, let's just say, oh, when do you guys, let's choose a date. Let's watch one of the movies on Netflix or something. And, just introduce things like that. And, the whole family will enjoy time together, and it would continue on its own. That's
Wow.
my.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I picked something from there, Sister Buki. Thank you. And I just suppose sometimes we parents criticize much more than talking. And so depend on how that is handled. If you get it right the first time, from what you're saying, if you get it right the first time, it will be easy for other sessions to happen. So if you, for instance, set a date with them within the house to watch a film, once they enjoy it, you're not criticizing them, you're not watching them, monitoring them and all that. The next time you suggest another family time, it will be easy. Thank you so much, Sister Buki. I learned some things there. Well done, sis. Thank you. I'm going to go now to Brother Victor. I don't know. Well, he says, I keep getting negative comments from my son's school. These characters are nothing like the son I know. How do I handle this? We don't know the age of the child, but this parent gets negative comments from the teachers about the child, and the parent does not believe that the character is of her son. How does she or he handle this?
Yeah, well, the best way to handle it is to start monitoring yourself. You don't just say, oh, this is not his character. He or she might be discussing at home. And when he gets out, he will be doing another thing, because children learn by imitation. Maybe, it said, no man is naturally born wicked. Society made him so. Maybe the type of people he associates with at school make him what he is, because you might not know. You put your eyes, make sure you start monitoring him, and don't let him know, and don't let it upset you or what he's doing, because the teachers, they are the one that is trained to look after them at school. They might not just be saying different thing. What they are saying is the right thing. So you as a parent, you got to put your eye down and see what is going on, and call the child possibly call the child and say, oh, this is what I'm hearing from the school. Why is it like this? So you cannot just leave him and, oh, my son or my daughter is not like this, and just forget about it. So you got to do your own investigation as well, and make sure you help the teacher and put him or her on the right path.
Thank you, sir. Minister Ola, do you suppose that what Brother Victor has said, do you suppose it depends on the age of the child? Or it doesn't matter?
I think regardless, your child is still your child even when they're 15, you know. But yeah, I do agree with him. You need to work with the teachers. Sometimes, obviously, they see something in our children that we don't know. You know, people see things in your children that you haven't, you know, you haven't seen that. And if it's not nurtured properly, you know, the person that has seen it may want to pull that child down. So it could be a child that is just outspoken and will say it as it is and will not have filter. And so that teacher may have some sort of an issue with the child, you know, because that is the way the child is. But I think for me, the best way to work with it is to work with the teacher as well. Find out exactly what it is. Try to understand where the teacher is coming from. And also speak to the child one-on-one. Adult, young, university, speak to them one-on-one. Because I'm sure if the teacher is telling you this about the child, they've probably said it to the child at school as well already. They've already given them detention and all of those things. So speak to the child, find out from the child if they have close friends. You know, you can ask some of those their friends as well, and just make sure that you keep an eye on them and you know, make sure, because I'm sure the children themselves, there must be a reason why they're doing what they're doing if they're acting out of character. But there must be a reason. And if you don't find the root cause of that problem, you're just going to be dealing with the symptoms. So without investigating, finding out exactly what the issue is and why he or she is acting that way, you may not be able to resolve it. It could be sometimes if you're with certain groups of people, there's a way that you exhibit yourself. And if you're with a different kind of people, there's a different way that you exhibit yourself. My child, one of my daughters, for example, she's very outspoken at home, but apparently at school, she's very quiet and she would obey, she would do everything. She doesn't talk back, but at home, she talks back. So it depends on the environment that they're in as well. So I think investigating and helping that child to pick the right decisions and doing the right things around the people they're surrounded with.
Wow. Thank you so much, sis. Thank you, Brother Victor and Minister Ola. Thank you for that. Brother Akin, this question says, my husband won't let me work and his income is not enough to sustain the family. I would like to do something to assist. What can I do from home to earn money? The part of the question that I would like for you to treat is, why would the husband not want the wife to work? What are some of the reasons why men wouldn't want the wife to work?
It's a catch-22 for me. I think this question is not it has an open question. To me, I mean, there shouldn't be a reason why a husband wouldn't let the wife to get into employment, into a paid work, because when it takes two to tango, and you know, A and B, you know, can make a difference. You know, it takes two to build a home. You know, it takes a man and a woman to bring a home. So, you know, for me, we don't know the reason why the man wouldn't want the wife to get into paid employment. And you know, again, we can't really decide. You know, so that's my.
Could it be just checking? Could it be the man being unsure because he's not earning enough to sustain the family? So at least the woman working is going to support whatever he's earning, but he's, you know, against that. Could it be that the man is jealous or, you know, worried about attention, or what could it be? Just so that this sister would know maybe some of the reasons why the husband doesn't want that, and then Sister Buki can help her with what she can do from home.
I mean, again, we men, I mean, I'm talking from a guy's perspective, you know, we're quite jealous. I mean, no man is going to sit down here and say that you're not jealous. You know, we're jealous human beings. So, I mean, again, it's quite difficult. It's quite difficult because, like I said, it takes A and B to make things work. So for the lady to get into paid employment, you know, it actually helps the home. You know, things A can do. You know, if A and B does the same thing, you get there in time. You know, a journey of 10 years will be 5 years. You know, and again, it's quite hard. You know, it's a catchy situation.
I suppose, you know, because what's concerning about this case is that he doesn't even earn enough to sustain the family. So I'm just wondering what then is the reason for not wanting the wife to work. I would come to Brother Victor. Thank you, Brother Akin. Brother Victor, I'll come to you on that first part of the question. But Sister Buki, the second part of the question the lady has asked is, what can I do from home to earn money? And in asking that question, you know, because the man is quite adamant, I don't want you to work. Apart from what can she do to earn money from home? And how can she also avoid trouble? Because if the man is saying don't work, what steps can she take to avoid getting into trouble? And two, what kind of things can she do from home that won't interfere with what the man has said?
Okay, so to be honest, there are quite a number of things to do, but she's the one that will decide and what she wants to do. Nobody can tell her what she will do. First of all, because we all have different gifts and abilities, different talents. Some people are good with makeup, some people are good with baking, cooking. I don't know her. I don't know what she likes. If I was close to her, I would be able to suggest directly to say, oh, you are good with this. Why not try? I mean, you cook very well. Why not try to start cooking? Or you do bake very well. Why not start, you know, go into baking? Or you're good with makeup. I mean, makeup. I mean, you can do the kind of makeup where people can come to your house instead of you going out to them. Also, a man who doesn't want you to work, even though there's not enough money in the family's purse, will probably not like that. People coming in. So you have to do something that when people come to pick it up or when you go drop it off, is not at home. So if he's the kind of person that he works, you know his office hours, so you know the kind of thing you can do where even if people have to pick things up from you, they're not coming into your house. I mean, somebody just rings the bell, you go to the door. So you give minimum, and to be honest, I mean, without, you know, the part here of the question is very important to know how easy this part will be for you. I mean, a man that doesn't have enough money and is still adamant on you not working will probably frustrate you in whatever you want to do. And from my experience, I mean, most of the men who do that, especially when there's not enough money, is either because they're very jealous. I mean, very serious jealousy that they feel if she's working, a man is going to be there, she'll be friends with them. I mean, it's a very silly way of thinking, but that's how that person thinks, and you can't change it. And some men, they just don't want a woman to have any sort of financial dependence. Financial independence. So they don't want you to have one dime. They want you to be dependent on them because they want to control you. So if that man is that kind of person, believe me, it will frustrate you. And I mean, it's like it's a situation where you have to start praying for God to give you that idea, something that it will not even see. I mean, I know people sell things on the internet as well, which they go post things out to people. It would have to be depending on how I know people that their husbands didn't want them to work as well, and they started doing small business from their house. You know, A man will tell you, oh, it's because of the children. I want you to be there full time. They will never tell you the actual negative reason they don't want you to work. I mean, no man will tell you because men will be looking at you. Most men will not say it. They will use the children to cover up. They will use, I want you to have direct impact on our children. I don't like it when, I mean, what's the point of you working and going to pay nannies and nurseries when you can? And it's true, a woman gives her children the best, that's it directly. So they will use those kind of excuses that even when you report them to other people and they say that, they'll say, well, your husband says this is for the children. So you have to, so the man, they would watch what you're doing. I know someone who started a business like that, and people will come and buy things from him. Her husband brought a customer and a supposed customer for her. And the man packed she was like, are you buying everything? He said, yes. And she was like, oh, when will you pay? He said, oh, I'll send money to you. I mean, and she felt confident that, oh, it's somebody her husband knows. It was a plan. The guy packed everything and she was getting those things on credit.
Wow.
And so she started asking her husband, and when will this person pay? I was like, did you ask him? But you were there that day. You call yourself a businesswoman. Somebody just came and packed all your things. Well, I don't know. And that was the end of it. She told me she tried several times. She always ended up in debt, or such a man as well. If they allow you to do that business, they will try to find out how much you're making. So supposing maybe you're making a profit of £500 every month, then they'll make sure that the money they give you for maybe monthly key for the house, for the children, they'll make sure there's a deficit of 550. Remember, you're making 500. So they will make a deficit of 550. When you ask them for money, they'll say, but you're doing business now, go and spend your money. At the end of the day, you'll be worse off because you'll be thinking, but money is finished. They won't believe you because they don't know if you're hiding the money. So they want to tighten the noose very well so that all the money you're making, they make sure you spend it. So it's a very terrible situation to be in. But there are husbands that, I mean, they would after a while, oh, this woman is making this money. Oh, wow, from the house. Oh, and they see that you're not asking them money for some things, and they'll see, oh, it's making their life easy. So they'll probably just leave you and encourage you. But so we don't know your own husband. We don't know the reasons. We don't know how seriously he doesn't want you to work. So it may be, your last resort may be prayer, because if it's a really extreme situation where he doesn't want you to have any dime, he wants you to be dependent on him controlling you, is either you ask God for the wisdom to open your eyes to see to the kind of business where he will not even know. You may have to start doing a business secretly, almost secretly, because if the kind of person, and so those men will do that as well. It's not like they'll provide everything you need. So it's really a frustrating situation. So you may have to do that business secretly for a while, asking God to change his mind. Your end result may be prayer for God to change his heart and his mind for you to be able to do something. But think about what you love to do, what will be convenient for you with your situation and your circumstances. And I'm sure if you think very well with the kind of things so many women make money, some people make clothes, I mean, making clothes may mean you need to go and train, which you don't have time to do. But makeup and those things that people learn, baking, catering, all sorts people do all sorts these days. So I pray that God gives you the wisdom to really think and find something that would work with your situation and circumstances.
Wow, Sister Buki. Wow, 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 wow. Thank you for that. Before I go to Brother Victor, because I really need something on that first bit, I'm going to read some of the Facebook comments. Someone says there are many ways to earn passively from home. Yes, Sister Buki thankfully said, gave us some ideas. Another comment says, could it be that they have young children and the husband wants her to look after the children rather than paying for childcare? So when the children grow up, what will happen then? Another comment says there are many things that you can learn on YouTube. Yes, thank you so much for all those comments. Keep them coming on Facebook. Thank you. Wow, that is amazing. Even what I haven't thought of, Sister Buki has shed some light. It is amazing, amazing, amazing. I pray we don't meet such men, in the name of Jesus. You will meet such men. Brother Victor, apart from jealousy, sir, what else could be? And please, I like what Sister Buki said, and I don't want us to go into the fact that maybe the man wants her to take care of their children. What other reasons? And then what would you advise the men that don't want their wives to work? So what could be the other reasons the man is asking her not to work? And what would be your advice to men who are thinking right now, you know what, I'm not going to allow my wife to work? What are the benefits of the wife working and the benefits, you know? Yes.
For me, a husband and wife are meant to be one, and with love. Somebody you love, you cannot be tormenting her. That is torment, because you are not earning enough, and you are telling your wife not to work. I cannot see any reason apart from jealousy, and that jealousy is just out of maybe ignorance, because you cannot monitor a woman. There is no way you can monitor a woman, because you are not going to be with her for 24 hours. You are going to go to work. Then you left her at home so that other men will not look at her. That is just too silly. So the best thing, like Sister Buki said, because you are not going to start fighting him or quarreling with him, you go on your knee, because you are already in it. Because there is no way going back, no escape route. So the best thing for you is to take it to God and let God touch him. Because I can say, because if the man has enough providing for her, that is a different thing. You haven't got enough and you are keeping her at home. So that is tormenting. So now the advice I have for men like that is, there is no way you cannot monitor any woman. Any woman that want to have any affair, that want to do anything, that one will even spur her to go and do it, because you are just putting what is not in her mind. That is what you are just trying to push to her. So the best thing, just go on your knee and start praying to God. Maybe God will touch him. He will change.
Amen.
So that is the thing.
Wow. Amen. Thank you, sir. I have a comment again from Facebook, and it says, could be that it is a control mechanism from such a man. So I think it goes back to what Sister Buki was saying, that maybe he wants to control the woman. Sister Buki, yes, ma'am.
So in addition to what Brother Victor said, most men will behave like that. I'm sorry, I don't know a husband, but there are men who they are not that loving and caring, and they know they have a lot of character flaws, and they believe that if you start working and you have your own money, you're going to leave them. You have the confidence and the ability to leave them. So they want to keep you in that situation where you are dependent on them. And it's true, if you are 100% dependent on someone, it's not easy. If you could leave them in 1 year, it may take you 10 years to leave them. You may never leave them, because every time you are thinking, how would I feed? What will happen to my children? Especially if you are in a place, here, you could even claim some benefits. If you don't have work, they can give you accommodation. But even then, you're still afraid. It makes you really afraid of your future without that person. So those men who do it, we don't know this person, but I'm sure if we really ask her, we'll find out that our husband is not the most caring or loving husband. And that's why they do it, just to make sure he's them.
It's even very obvious, because from what Brother Victor says, it can't, or even what the question says, he can't provide everything for the family. So, God help us in Jesus' name. So as singles, make sure you shine your eyes, ask the necessary questions, please. So thank you so much, Sister Buki, Brother Victor, and Brother Akin. That was lovely. Brother Akin, I'm going to come back to you again. And the question is, what should be the relationship between my wife and my mom? So what should be the relationship between a wife and the mother-in-law?
I'll talk from my experience. The relationship my wife has with my mom is amazing. Sometimes I feel jealous, I'll be honest, or where maybe I'm out when we travel back home, I'm out, and mom and my wife, talking away. Sometimes they wouldn't even acknowledge me, and I'll be like, "What are you guys talking about?" Oh, they're talking about me. That's what my mom would say, and I sit down like, why can't they get me into this conversation? Mom will say no. It shows because the way it depends on how some parents are to their son's wife. But I mean, as for me, what I understand is mom should be a mom, despite whatever's happening within their son's relationship, because my mom takes my wife as a daughter. So, it's a great thing, and it's something we should celebrate more, because if someone is not comfortable in a home, that goes a long way. So I expect, most families should have, the same same kind of experience where which my wife is having right now. So it's something we should celebrate.
Praise the Lord. So I got one thing from what you said, my brother, and you said the way your mom treats your wife. So it's quite important for those of us that are women, how we also treat fellow women who potential daughters-in-law, make them feel comfortable. Thank you so much. Sister Buki, is there anything else you'd like to add to this? What should be the relationship between a mother-in-law and the son's wife? What should be the relationship?
It should be cordial at the least. Sorry, it should be cordial, but it's all about the people involved. So the wife may be loving and caring, extending affection to the mother-in-law, and the mother-in-law may not be forthcoming on the other hand, and it may be the mother-in-law who is open-minded and ready to be nice and friends, and the wife is not looking that way. So we don't know, but it should be cordial. There's no reason why they should be doing cat and mouse, to be honest. But at the end of the day, no matter what, I believe that mothers can be who they are, and sometimes they may not be at their best behavior towards their daughters-in-law. So as wives and as Christians, because this is a Christian platform, so we are meant to be examples to the world. And Jesus said, when they slap you on one side, you should turn the other side. What he's trying to say is be long-suffering, be patient, endure when other people do things to you. So even if the mother-in-law isn't nice or, caring, the daughter-in-law should hold up her own beat. Some people will say, oh, because she doesn't treat me well, because she did this, so that's it. I'm also not going to treat her well. I won't greet her again. As a Christian, we shouldn't do that. So if your mother-in-law isn't treating you well, at best, think about it. Sometimes, we do quarrel with our mothers as well, but you make up with your mom. Whatever your mom does, you'll forgive. So I believe that if you really love your husband, and you know that this kind of situation will make your husband happy, because when things are not right between, if his mom is important, in which I believe, every mother will be important, otherwise this person won't be writing. So you should try your best to do your best, so that at least your husband will see that, and not to do your best, not to pretend. Do one thing in his face and do another one when he's not there, just because God sees and will reward everybody for the good or bad that they do. So greet her, ask after her. If she's, don't leave room. If she's far away, call her. If you think that calling her, I have a friend that, she doesn't get on with her mother-in-law, and she feels that the more she calls her mother-in-law, the more her mother-in-law would turn things around and use it against her. Old people do, and sometimes they hear what you are not saying, what you have not said. So you've said something, but their own interpretation of what you have said, they are not lying against you. That's what, before I used to think that some old people lie, but I now understand that they are not lying, but their perception has changed because of age. So you are saying A, but what they are hearing is A, B, B. So the person, so if you try to understand this, so sometimes your mother-in-law could tell your husband, oh, when your wife called me, she said this, and you're so angry. Why would she lie against me? don't worry, when you get to a point, or your mom gets to a point, you understand that she's not lying. It's just the way she understands what you've said. So try and call her. Don't talk too much so that she won't have things to say. Oh, she said that. Oh, I'm just calling to ask after. I hope you are well, just to check up on you. If you can't do weekly, because that would cause more problems, do monthly, and encourage your husband. Have you called mommy as well? Let's do this for her. Just do your best, because because you're a child of God and there's a reward for it. So don't give back bad when you're not getting something good. And I believe that, it will be manageable. It won't be the best, but at least you're managing the relationship. So that's what I would say.
Wow, Sister Buki, you're on fire. Thank you so much. Thank you for that. That is awesome. Like Brother Akin said, his wife and his mom, they have a good relationship. That's how it should be. That's how it should be. Daughters-in-laws, mothers-in-law, we've been taught over and over again that you should treat them the same way you would treat your mother or your father. After all, they're your fathers and they're your mothers in love, not in law. Praise the Lord. Thank you so much, Brother King and Sister Buki. Minister Ola, yes, there is a comment on Facebook very quickly. If we have a good background, we should treat our son or daughter-in-law as ours. Yes, if we have a good background, we should treat our sons or daughters-in-law as ours. Thank you so much. God will help each and every one of us in Jesus' name. Now, Minister Ola, my question now is for you. So my fiance said he doesn't want children. I prefer when people say children. When they say kids, remind me of God's children. So my fiance said he doesn't want kids, but I do. We've been together for 3 years and planning to get married next year. Should I call off the wedding or carry on and hope he changes his mind? So this man has been honest. He has told this woman, I don't want to have children. They've been together for 3 years. He hasn't changed his mind. And they're planning to get married next year. Should she call off the wedding or carry on and hope he changes his mind?
Well, thank you. She can't carry on and hope he changes his mind, because he may never change his mind. And so that means she will be in everlasting sort of missing out on what she really wanted. My advice would be, the first question is, have they had counseling? And then if they haven't, my advice would be for them to go for counseling. If both of you don't want the same thing, it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be everlasting. You're always going to be on your knees having to pray for that thing. So I think they need counseling. They need to talk it out. You can't force him to want what he doesn't want, and he can't force you to want what you don't want. So unfortunately, if that is his decision now, just take it that might be his decision tomorrow. Prayer may not change it, because that is what he wants. So you don't need to pray for something that someone doesn't want. There might be a reason why he doesn't want it. So my advice would be to go for counseling, so that they both understand where they're starting from, so that 5 to 6 years down the line, it's not a fun or a problem in the marriage.
Wow. Thank you. I will, before I say, I actually have a real life story that I'd like to share very quickly. But before I say that, I'm going to ask Brother Victor what his take is on that. But there is a comment on Facebook that says, this is a fundamental issue. I know a marriage that broke down because of exactly this. Don't carry on. Another one says, marriage will not change his mind. Marriage will not change his mind. So Brother Victor, what do you think, sir? The man doesn't want children. He has made it very clear. They've been together for 3 years. They're planning on getting married next year. She's hoping that he will change his mind. What would you advise, sir?
My advice is just to the person and to the general public as well, because before you go into any marriage, you have to sit down together. Sit down. This is what I want. This is what I don't want. There is do's and don'ts, so that when you get to the when the going start off, you say, oh, you didn't tell me this. So that there's no deceit. Oh, why are you deceiving me? You didn't tell me this one. So this man is just playing and tell you, oh, this is a very good man, because it's not the one that want to hide, and because he want to marry you, and it get to a stage and said, oh, let's have children now, let's have kids now, and you say, oh, the man will say, I don't want to have. No, this man just tell you everything. That is the type of person. That is the type of behavior every man should have. And both men and women sit down together and say, we are going into this journey. This is A, B, B, C. This is what I want. This is what I don't want. Apart from children, there are other things that come into it. This is, my past life. This is what I'm doing. This is what I went to. This is what, don't just, because when they get to a stage and something start coming up, that can break marriage. If you don't say what you are at the beginning, that is why it's good to sit down, open up, don't hide anything. If the person want to go in, let it come. If you don't want to go, let it go. Because that is why so many marriages break down.
True.
So many marriages break down because of, deceit. Some will have maybe a child before. Then he will tell the man, oh, I haven't got a child. There's no point, because if he loves you, he will love you for who you are. You cannot just deceive somebody and they deceive him to enter. Then the same thing with men, the same thing with women. So we have to be very, very open. When there is openness like that, even if in future, then people outside that say, oh, this man, you don't know this, how he is, this, how he is. He will say, oh, he's told me before we started. So there's nothing like, oh, you deceived me. So this man told you, if you want to enter, that means you don't have to have a child. So this man said you don't want to have a child. It's as simple as that. If you want to go in, it's up to you. If you don't want to go in, go and look for another person. It's as simple as that.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. The comments are coming in and it says, sis, he has told you what he wants. What else do you want to hear? Please leave. Another one says there is nothing else to sit down to discuss. They don't want the same things. What else are we sitting down to discuss? Now, very quickly, two very quick ones. One, I know someone who said the same thing. I don't want children. And the woman felt it would change his mind later on. But lo and behold, he said he didn't want children because he couldn't, I don't know what word they use, he couldn't have children. That's the reason why he said he doesn't want children. He knew that he had a medical condition that made it impossible for him to have children. So that's one bit. So maybe that's the case. So even if you want him to change his mind, he might never change his mind because it's not, so he's made it very plain to you. Another one is another person I know, the husband told her he didn't want children. She wanted children, but they got married. And because that was what she desired, she was miserable not having children, and you could see it. So she's my age mate. When I was pregnant with my last child, she was asking me, how did I get pregnant at that age? And I was thinking, well, blah. So she desperately wanted children, but because of what the husband had said, she was trying to please someone else to her own, and she was very miserable. But the good thing that came out of this is that now they both have two girls. They have two children. So, but from what everyone is saying, it's not always going to be that way. For instance, we've also given the example of someone who knew that he couldn't father children. And so he said, I don't want children, but he didn't give the full details. So may God help us. May God help us. May God help us. Thank you, Minister Ola. Thank you, Brother Victor. Does any member of the panel have anything to say before I move on to the next question?
Sorry, can I just add to it that the reason why I've said counseling is counseling or therapy can bring out the reason why this person doesn't want to have the children. It could be that they can't tell you that they've had this injury as a child and they've been told this and blah, blah, blah. So, and I suppose sometimes the men, because of their ego, they may not be able to say to you, I can't father a child. but they would say to you, I don't want to have a child. So you think it's because he just doesn't want to have a child, you know? So when you have therapy or counseling, it might be able to bring out what the problem is, what his fears are, or it could be something that he went through in his childhood, or, you know, whatever experience he's had as a child. So that is the reason why I believe Brother Victor and also myself said counseling and therapy is definitely important to talk about it. So before you make the decision that I'm not going to follow on with the wedding or the marriage, because you leave the man today and then 4 years down the line, you hear he's married to somebody else and they have 4 kids. And you'd be like, why? You know, but so that's the reason why you have to have the counseling and the therapy first, so that you know that you're making an informed decision when you make your decision whether to walk or to stay.
Wow. Wow. Thank you for that. Therapy. Yeah. Thank you for that, Minister Ola. God bless you. Yes, there is one last comment and I'll move to the next question because time is going so fast when we're having fun. This comment says, marriages have enough challenges. Please don't add another one to it. Marriages have enough challenges. Don't add another one to it. Now, Sister Buki, I'll come to you first, and then Brother Akin, you would also help us with this question. So it says here, there are 2 questions, but they're quite similar. So I'll read the 2. The first one says, I left my spouse in Africa. I have tried getting him here for the past 8 years to no avail. Is it okay for me to be seeing someone else? Note the word spouse. Left the spouse in Africa, and for the last 8 years, they've been trying to get them down here to no avail. Is it okay to start seeing someone else? Then another question that says, I have waited 5 years for my fiance to cross over, but to no avail. I can't travel as my papers are still with the Home Office. As neither of us is getting any younger, should I break up with her? So Sister Buki, so there are two different questions, but I just want us to put it together. So one's a spouse, the other one is a fiance or fiance, you know, so what would you advise our brother and sister?
So the first question, she's married and her husband is in Nigeria, or her spouse is in Nigeria. We're Christians and we have to advise and give judgment on the Christian standards that we believe in, which is the Bible. So having somebody else here is adultery, which is a sin, which is not allowed. So the person didn't mention whether she can travel. She said she's been here for 8 years. So if he can't come over, why don't you visit? I mean, some people don't even have paper issues, but husband and wife reside in different countries. They see each other on holidays and whenever they can, as much as they can afford it as well. It depends on money. And also, I know it's not easy when you're separate from your spouse. Nobody said it's going to be easy, but our Christian standards and what is expected of us is not meant to be changed or bent to suit our will when things go rough. Part of the things that the Bible tells us is that in this world we'll go through difficulties, challenges, and Jesus said we should not despair because he has overcome the world. So, and as Christians as well, we believe that there's nothing God can't do. So that situation where if it's getting to a point where you need, you know, that your sexual needs is trying to push you to go and sin, it's better you go to God and cry out to him. There's nothing he can't change, and he can do a miracle. Let him know you don't want to sin. I mean, sometimes God may be testing you to see whether that situation, that challenge will make you to change or go out of the will of God. So you don't know. Sometimes, you know, they say, we've been taught several times by even our mommy that we know that we hear it all the time, that challenges are meant to train us. They are meant to make us grow as Christians, and God may be testing you for your next level. But because if you fall for that and you go and start, sleeping with someone else just because your husband can't come over, you don't know what you miss and what barrier it will bring between you and your relationship with God. So that's a no. Sorry, it's not something you want to hear, but that's it. Just cry to God, believe that it will bring your husband, go travel if you can to see him until things change. The second situation is about a fiancé. So, I mean, it's a tricky question because it looks simple at first to say it's fiancé, so just leave that person and move on with someone else here. But at the same time, if you can't travel because your papers are not through yet, so obviously you can't marry them. But how long, we don't have all the details. But no matter what, I mean, I don't want to judge it by, oh, okay, if it's only 6 months, or if it take 1 year, or if it take 2 years to do your papers, why not just wait? It will take 5 years, just leave him and go and marry someone else. You know this person, you know your story, you know your history. We don't know, maybe this person raised funds for you to travel. I mean, there are instances where back home, the person would have supported you. Maybe she even gave you money. We've heard stories where somebody, their family will give them money to travel. They'll give it to the boyfriend or girlfriend that they feel would have a better chance, and it won't work out. Personally, I have a niece, a cousin, whom she told us, she came and said her husband wanted to go to America and we should support. And I mean, we did ask her, your husband, we felt, okay, maybe it was because she felt her husband would be better off as a man to work and send money. And we supported, helped her to raise the funds for the ticket and all that. And, you know, now she's complaining all the time. Her husband doesn't send money. And when I asked her, oh, he doesn't send money. I mean, when I say we paid for every dime of his ticket, and even she still called back to say he needed money. They were asking that when he gets to America, they'll ask for proof of funds. He still gave money. This ran over almost 2 million that we spent. So this is money we gave our own cousin, who gave to her husband. So imagine, and people do it for fiancés as well. I mean, my sister had a friend who single-handedly sent her boyfriend then, her fiancé, to America. And then he got to America, and then he broke up with her. So we don't know the history between you and this fiancé in Nigeria. So I can't come and tell you, oh, leave them and move on with someone else. I mean, you know, and you should allow God to direct you. It may also be, who knows, maybe God is trying to say that person is not the right person for you to marry. Maybe that's why it's not working out. So I think what you need to do is not seek people's advice, but go to God in prayer and make sure you hear from God. God, what should I do about this situation? Because God can never lead you wrongly, because we can give you an advice that won't work for you. We can give you an advice that will attract curses. You know, some women, I've heard somebody's story. The person he was meant to marry that he left in Nigeria hired assassins to come and kill him on the day of the wedding. And thankfully, they were apprehended, and they said she was the one that sent them. Imagine, because you broke up with somebody, and people are broken up with people as well, that the person will go and curse them, that would affect them. So if God leads you and tells you what to do, you know that even if problems come because you left that person, you can go back to God because he told you to take this decision. So please don't listen to advice of men or women. Go to God and let him tell you what to do. Are you trying to say that this person is not right for me? Is that why it's been taking so long? Is that why this thing is not working? Marriage is not about, is this the right person? If God has told you, did you pray about that person already? Did God say that that's the right spouse for you? So would you now just leave them because of this challenge that you have right now? So because even in marriage, there'll be challenges as well. So please, that's my final answer. God will be the one to lead you.
Thank you so much, Sister Buki. Yes, was it Brother Akin that was supposed to help us, or Brother Victor?
For me, I think what I've jotted down here is the will of God, which everyone has already mentioned. Sometimes what we want might not necessarily what God wants, and like Mommy always say, delay is not denial. You know, so and also all I can say is just having waiting on God, like Sister Buki said. But if you think you can't wait any longer, that's the best thing is just to have an honest and open conversation with your spouse, where you guys will settle things amicably, where you can, you can understand that, age is not on your side, you want to move on, and, these things happen where after moving on, you can still meet, God knows, God can make things happen where you guys will cross paths again and you guys will rekindle your relationship. So again, denial is not delay, and it takes the grace of God, and the will of God. That's what I can say.
Thank you so much, Brother King. Thank you so much, Brother King and Sister Buki. I just have one question from that first part of the question about the spouse. If she's waited here, I guess it's a woman who's waited in the UK for the past 8 years, and the husband can't join her, can she not go back and join him? Because obviously that looks like is an issue for her, that for the last 8 years they've not been together. So maybe she hasn't been able to journey to Africa to meet with him. Can she not go back? Obviously, maybe she doesn't have papers as well. Can she not go back? I don't know. I'm just thinking, can she not go back home to where the husband is?
We don't know her situation. Going home may be a situation where financially it won't work for her. She may feel, she's left, going back to start all over. It may not be an option for her. So like Brother Aki said, if it's not an option for her to go back, and like I said, maybe she doesn't have papers, because if she doesn't have papers, that means there's no end in sight. That means they'll never see each other, which means he can't come over, she can't come over, and he decides to end the marriage because of that. Like Brother Key said, she needs to be straightforward. She needs to break up with him and divorce, and then not to start committing adultery while deceiving the man in Nigeria that she's still here.
Waiting on him.
Wow, thank you so much, Brother Aki and Sister Buki. Minister Ola, I'm going to come to you with this next question. So I've had some money saved before I got married that my husband is not aware of. We are in desperate need of money now and would like to help, but I know he won't take it lightly. What should I do? So she saved money before they got married, which she never told her husband. Should she have told him before they got married? We are in desperate need of money now, and I would like to help, but I know he won't take it lightly. What should I do? And then Brother Victor, you will help us with that as well. What should this sister do?
That's such a tough one. You want to help. He's not going to take it lightly, but he's still going to take the money. And I believe this happens with a lot of couples. When you first when you're courting at the very beginning, there's you expect that people are open with you and they're honest, but sometimes people don't have the confidence, the strength to maybe tell you everything that they have or that they're going through. It could be that maybe they already have a child or something. It takes a while for people to get to that place of trust, even before you get married. So even though he will not take it lightly, you guys need that money now. I'm sure he'll be thankful for it. If he's a man that loves you and loves his family, I'm sure he'll be thankful for it. The way to his heart. So yes, it won't take it lightly, but I'm sure there's a way you can deliver it that, I don't know, there's a way you must be able to deliver it that he will be able to take it lightly. Maybe Sister Buki, the financial guru here, might be able to help, because she probably would have seen a couple of these in the past. But yeah, I don't know. It's a really difficult one. I won't want to say give it to somebody else to give it to him so that he gives it back to that person. I don't really know the full details,
Yeah.
So come straight now. I haven't come straight at the very beginning. These were my reasons for not coming straight at the very beginning, but I'm coming straight now. Your money is my money. This is our money. Use it for what you want us to use it for.
Thank you, Minister Ola. But Victor, why would the husband not take it lightly? Is it because she didn't tell him before they got married?
You see, different people react to different issue differently, because this is the money she has saved before they got married. Not that they are together before she starts saving money without telling the husband. So she has saved this money before, and they got issue now. And she said, oh, my husband, I got some money before we got married. But some people will not take it to high heaven and say, oh, why didn't you tell me before? So everybody are different. For me, the way I will not take it like, oh, you were hiding something from me. But I know some people will take it in a very, very bad way. Oh, because we said, what he will said, what were you hiding things from me? But as in this case, I think the man supposed to say, oh, okay, well, thank you very much. I didn't expect you to do this one, but this one is a big help now. But the most, the annoying part of it, if you are together already and you are saving money somewhere, you don't let your husband know, or you are building house, you don't want your husband to know. So many people do that. So which can cause, a breakdown in marriage. So for the woman to go through third party, to go and say, oh, I will bring my husband, we'll come and ask money so that I'll give you this money to give us. That is the no-go area, because that person is open door for the enemy to enter. That is sin. So that one is not good at all. If that just come out and said, oh, my husband, I got this money before, let's use it. This money, I got it before we married. So I don't think it's going to be a big deal.
Thank you, sir. I suppose even if he gets upset that she didn't tell him before, because the money is going to meet the need they have, I think eventually he would have to see the good in what she's done.
Yeah.
Because it could be that she put it in a fixed deposit, so it wasn't money to be talked about. So Sister Buki, anything to add? Like Minister Ola said, being the financial, have you seen something? Praise the Lord. Thank you so much. So we're going to run now because we've only got a few minutes left. So the first question, another question I have now, I would put it to, I'll decide now who to give this to. But is it possible for me to remarry if my marriage is not working? So there are many strands to that. If my marriage is not working, is it good for me to remarry? And the second part of it is, I need a break from my marriage. How do I go about it? I need a break from my marriage. How do I go about it? I don't know if it's a break that, the normal lunch break you have, you go for lunch break for 1 hour and then you come back to work, or which one? You need a break. How do I go about it? So please, Sister Buki, help us with this. Is it possible for me to remarry if my marriage is not working? And then I need a break from my marriage. How do I go about it? We don't know what kind of break. Is it long-term break or short-term break? Just help us with both. Thank you, sir.
Well, the first question, it seems like that person is still in a marriage and they're thinking, so if in this marriage I'm planning to leave, is it possible for me to remarry? I think the two questions, it shows that the two people don't understand what marriage is, because marriage is not something that it's not something that you take a break from just like that. We don't know, obviously, they've not told us what. Unfortunately, if they were more explicit about saying, oh, this is like now, if somebody says, oh, my husband, I don't want to say husband or wife, because even men do experience physical abuse. So if someone is saying that they are being abused physically, being, either getting injured, they end up, going to the hospital and lying, I will probably know what to say. But these two people just want to know whether marriage is something that they can just walk away from easily. Number one, marriage is not a relationship. It's not a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship that you can just up and go at any point in time. We don't even know if they have children. I mean, divorce is not something that is so easy. It's something that people who divorce, who end up separating or getting divorced, before they get to that journey, it takes a lot of time, a lot of consideration, a lot of things. We don't know if you have children, we don't know your situation, we don't know your position. It's like you want to walk out of your marriage and you're looking for people to encourage you and say, oh yes, yeah, just walk away, just go. So marriage, that's why we need to do this kind of attend, even if when you're single, attend this type of events, listen to people's problems, learn from it, go for marriage, relationship counseling. So what I would advise both of them to do is they both need therapy. So, but unfortunately, Africans, Nigerians, we're not, especially the men. The women are mostly ready. Without sounding partial, because I'm a woman, women are mostly ready to do most anything that will make their marriage better. But men are more reluctant. They feel like, is anyone, I know it all, who is going to teach me how to run my life? I can't go to someone and start telling them, what are they going to tell me? So, as much as we can say go for counseling, we don't know if the other party will agree to go for counseling. So in a situation where they're not ready to go for counseling, what are the issues you have? Are they something that you can discuss with? Do you have someone you respect or your spouse respects that you can discuss those issues that are bothering you to the extent that you think you need a break? Because I don't want to also just overlook the problem. This person that says she needs a break, maybe she's going through emotional breakdown. She feels without that break, she's going to go crazy, or she can't take it anymore. So we're not trying to say that you're not going through anything. We are not trying to overlook and minimize your pain or what you're going through, but we are trying to look for other options that you can take that's separate from separation or break or divorce. So does he go to church with you? Can you talk to your pastor? Can your pastor talk to both of you? Also, can you also sit down? Because sometimes what I've realized with women is that sometimes we tend to focus so much on not little things, but on the let's say you have a husband that's got 10 good points, and now we have 10 points. Let's say he's got 7 good points and 3 bad points, or maybe 6-4 or 5-5. We are prone to major so much on that 5 that is bad and forget the good part. I've seen people that have separated or divorced before the divorce, they'll say, you never hear them say any good thing about their spouse. They say all the bad things. And to you feel like, oh, this is it. Because they don't say anything good. And then they break up or they separate. And 2 months later, somebody is saying, oh, I miss so person. And you're like, oh, really? Oh, yeah, if he was here, he would have done this for me. He's the one that does the cooking. Oh, I've been wanting, that was something that actually happened to me with one of my, with somebody I know. And she was telling me, as she's been wanting to eat plantain for 3 days, he would have gone to buy the plantain for her and fried it for her. She never said I didn't advise her to break up with him anyway, but then she said she was broke. In that same conversation, we were talking, she's so broke. Why are you broke? All the bills I'm paying. He used to pay like 60 or 70% of the bills. Now I'm paying everything. And I'm like, so why were you? So I realized that. So I've seen it happen over and over again, that women focus on those bad things. They don't look at the total picture. So please look at the total picture by yourself. You can even sit down, write down the good things, be true to yourself. Sometimes you need somebody to point it out. Like if somebody knows your husband or your marriage, they can say, people come to me sometimes, if you're a friend and you're complaining. I have friends who have only one complaint, and I will tell them, please just keep quiet. You are just, it's because you have no problem. That's why, Yoruba will say that when you are full and then you are still looking for more food, you want your tummy to burst. So they'll say, oh, Buki, you are too harsh. You don't even, I'm like, I'm not harsh. Look, this problem that you think you have is not a problem. Yeah, you might be crying about it because you are focusing too much on it. You know, people have this problem and 10 more in their marriages that they will count, and they're still married to their husbands. You have one. And it took some of them, you know, female in Nigeria, it took them reading stories about people's marriages, and then they come back and say, Buki, oh, so what you used to say is true, but I can't believe people are going through that in their marriage. So it gave them a new perspective. Now, by themselves, I don't complain anymore. I now see that I have it good. So sometimes we tend to build a picture that's not really there. And when people tell you, so I don't want to take up so much time because I can see, but that's it. I mean, that's the advice. Please try and get counseling, see someone, get people to see with another eye, give you a different opinion. Don't just go for that break without, you know, taking, doing your due diligence and seeing if it could work, please.
Wow. Thank you, Sister Buki. Thank you so much. Before we go to the last two questions, I just want to quickly read this comments from Facebook regarding the previous question on having some money before the marriage and all that. So he says, I think it would be more of an issue if in future he finds out that you could have helped and didn't. I think then the next one says, I think finding out later that you could help and you didn't help, you, okay, whether he will take it lightly or not, you still have to tell him. The fact that you want to help him shows he's reasonable and a decent man. That sums it all up. Brother Akin will answer this last question and then we'll go round with the final question. You know, so Brother Akin, my husband has asked me not to tithe fully, just to give offering. I used to be a good tither. What should I do? So the husband has told the wife not to tithe, which is 10% of her earnings. What can the sister do?
I think again, it's an individual thing. We're being commanded in the Bible to pay our tithes, which is our 10% of our earnings. And if the husband is asking the wife not to tithe, I think that the wife should be strong enough to say no. I mean, which again, it might cause a lot of arguments at home, but to me, I don't subscribe to it where the husband will tell the wife not to tithe. And again, it depends on the woman, how strong she is, you know, for her to disobey the husband. Because we have some women, you know, whatever the husband says is the final. And again, it's if the person is well rooted in the word of God, they will know the reason and why the tithe is very important.
Thank you, Brother Akin. The senior pastor says one thing that I like, and is that I would rather obey, well, that's what the scripture, I would rather obey God than obey man. But God help you, my sister. God will help you. Just as we're about to round up this last question, I want each of us 30 seconds to say something about this. Is it good for me to always discuss what is happening in my marriage with my family? Is it good for me to always discuss what is happening in my marriage with my family? Brother Victor, sir? Quickly and why?
That is no go area at all. Your marriage, your husband and wife, you are the same. Anything that is happening in your home, sit down together and sort it out. Because you are your husband is you. If you know that what you are doing to your husband, you are doing it to yourself. What your husband is doing to you, he is doing it to himself. You will not go out and start telling your family, or she going out telling her family. That is you are inviting trouble. Don't just do that.
Thank you.
Yourself.
Thank you, sir. Minister Ola, 30 seconds.
Yes, I totally agree with Brother Victor. Yes, don't discuss it with your family, because once you discuss it with them, when you've forgiven your spouse, your family may not have forgiven them. Even if they forgive, they don't forget, and it doesn't make your marriage, you know, as well or as sweet as you would want it. If you need to talk to anybody about it, Sister Buki's prescription, seek therapy, seek counseling. If you really have to talk to somebody about it, seek therapy or counseling. That's it.
Thank you, Minister Ola. Brother Akin?
I think I totally agree. It's a no-go area. Anything that's happening in your marriage, speak, take it, have a prayer, take it in prayer, and, I'm sure there's nothing too hard for God to
do.
to solve. So
Thank you,
it's a
sir.
no-no.
Thank you, Sister Buki.
Okay, they've said it all. I mean, it's a bad idea. You would make them lose respect for your husband.
Wow. Amazing. Thank you so much. Wow, it's been an awesome evening again with this wonderful men and women of God. You have helped us so much this evening again. May the Lord bless you, bless you, bless you richly. We've learned so much from you this evening. I would round up with this comment, with this. And just like Minister Ola has said, even when you've forgiven your husband, you've forgotten about what he's done, they're not likely to forget or forgive. So they'll still refer to those issues. And our senior pastor has always said one thing: there are two people in the marriage. The only third person should be God. So don't get people involved apart from God. they're not with you in that marriage. It's you, your husband, and God. May God help us in Jesus' name. Just before we round up, just to remind us of our weekly services, tomorrow, Monday, we'll be having our In Thy Presence, our early morning devotion from 6 to 7 a.m. and that runs Mondays to Fridays. On Tuesdays, we have our God of Breakthrough from 11 a.m. to 12:15 p.m. Wednesday, we have our Bible study 6 to 7 p.m. And then on Thursday, Mondays and Thursdays, we have our Power of Prayer in the evening from 6 p.m. to 7:15 p.m. So please join us on the same platform and the Lord will bless us in Jesus' name. I wonder if Pastor Atinuke is available. On behalf of Pastor Atinuke Adesonya and Pastor Bayomi Adesonya, I'd like to say thank you to our wonderful panel. Thank you, Brother Victor, Minister Ola, Sister Buki, and Brother Akin, as we invite the senior pastor to round up this session. We hope that when we call you again, you will honor the invitation. We've been so blessed. You're all loaded. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Praise be the name of the Lord. It's been an awesome evening again tonight. I find out that the family view is getting better and better and better. And I believe that all the question asked again tonight is going to help each and every one of us. I believe you've learned something from this. And I hope next time that we'll be having family view, you invite your families and your friends. Until we come your way again, we want to say a big thank you to Sister Buki, Brother Victor, Brother King, Minister Ola, and also Minister Ola, Brother King, Brother Victor, Sister Buki Alabi, and Sister Ditung. God bless you all. Have a wonderful evening. And everything you've learned tonight, make sure you use it. Don't just hear it. God bless you. Have a good evening. I see you tomorrow evening, tomorrow morning by the special grace of God, and also in the evening. God bless you. Have a good evening.